My misogynistic coworker treated women like we only existed to serve him, so I served him something that comes once a month. Derek believed women were put on earth to serve men in every possible way. And I don't mean casual sexism or outdated jokes. I mean he kept a spreadsheet tracking our menstrual cycles, so he'd know which days we'd be emotional and irrational, and told every new female hire they were only there to improve the view. 8 years he'd been treating the office like his personal kingdom, and I was about to show him what happened when you push the wrong woman too far. Derek started with small daily humiliations, like interrupting women in meetings to say what she's trying to say is, then repeating our exact words, or watching us eat lunch and commenting, salad again, good girl watching that figure. The men laughed along while the other women taught me to ignore him completely, since fighting back only gave him more fuel. But things escalated quickly. When Amanda presented her quarterly report after working on it for weeks, Derek leaned back and interrupted. Sweetheart, why don't you let one of the guys explain the numbers? Math is hard when you're pretty, but I bet you're good at other things. Amanda kept going, voice steady, while Derek told his buddies, this is what happens when companies hire for diversity quotas instead of talent. Definitely sucked her way into the position. Then to top it all off, after her flawless presentation, he emailed the entire team congratulating her on being surprisingly competent for a woman. When we reported him to HR, we got Brad, Derek's drinking buddy, who called it just his communication style, and suggested Amanda should be flattered by the attention. By my 6th month, Derek ruined our company top-golf event by appointing himself as every woman's golf instructor, grabbing our hands to correct our form while pressing too close. When Jessica, who'd played Division I golf in college, stepped up to swing, he actually grabbed her hips from behind. She shrugged him off and drove the ball 250 yards straight down the range. But Derek just announced, lucky shot, must be all that practice hitting things during your time of the month. He spent the rest of the day calling us cart girls and demanding we fetch his drinks while Jessica quietly beat him by 40 points. I could handle Derek's daily harassment, but when he started stealing women's homemade lunches and eating them at his desk while smirking at us, it became personal. That week, everything fell apart at once, leaving me crying at my desk from the stress of it all. And my mom, who had that supernatural ability to know when her daughter was drowning, drove an hour through rush hour traffic just to hold me. She spent 6 hours in my kitchen making my favorite pot roast, the one she'd made every Sunday when I was little when the world was safer. And men like Derek only existed in cautionary tales. This will help, she said, packing up the leftovers. Sometimes you just need a taste of home. I brought that precious container to work the next day, looking forward to lunch like a lifeline. At 12:30, I walked into the break room and found Derek eating my mother's pot roast, gravy on his chin, surrounded by his usual audience. This one must be on the rag, he announced, taking another huge bite. Her food tastes extra desperate today. You can always taste the hormones when they're bleeding. Makes them better cooks though. All emotional and trying to please. That's when I decided to destroy him. If he thought periods affected the food, I would show him exactly how right he was. I spent 2 weeks preparing, studying Derek's patterns like a scientist. He was predictable as a clock, 12:15 to 12:30. Only homemade food, targeting whoever he'd insulted most recently. I started planting seeds, having loud conversations about my monthly harvest and how I'd been adding iron-rich supplements to my food, showing articles about natural cycling nutrition, keeping everything just vague enough. The trap was simple. Wednesday morning, I brought my best pasta and loudly told the women about my new diet that's been giving me so much energy, all natural, straight from the source. Derek overheard and yelled from across the room about hippie bullshit and how we'd believe anything. I put my clearly labeled container in the fridge and waited. At 12:23, Derek took the bait. I walked into the break room to find him eating my pasta, not even trying to hide it. Oh my god, I froze in the doorway. He laughed, twirling more pasta on his fork. Relax. Besides, you could stand to skip a meal, maybe fit into something other than those pants that scream, I've given up. But that's my special. I started. He interrupted. I know, I heard you going on about your all natural and straight from the source bullshit. He said, what, you grow your own tomatoes? He took another huge bite. Gotta say though, it's actually good. You women know your place in the kitchen at least. But Derek, you don't understand. I tried again. What's wrong? That time of the month? Is that why you're getting all worked up over some pasta? He smirked, still chewing. Actually, yes, I said quietly. It is that time of the month. And when I said straight from the source, I didn't mean a garden. I meant my menstrual cup. That's my period blood in the sauce. Watching his face transform was pure art. The horror dawned slowly, then all at once. He ran for the bathroom like his life depended on it, and the sounds that followed were symphony of justice with a digestive percussion section. Derek vanished for a week, then returned eating lunch in his car, refusing to enter the break room or touch the communal fridge. 6 months later, he still takes the stairs to avoid walking past our lunch area. Watching him hide from our space, I think of his words, you can always taste the hormones. Turns out he was absolutely right.